What if the person you love was never really your choice at all? Not some grand destiny etching your names together in the book of fate. Not free will letting you freely select them from the crowd of billions. Not even the random flutter of chance bumping you into each other at the right moment, right place. What if that very first undeniable spark of attraction, the sudden hitch in your breath, the warmth spreading through your chest, the way the room faded and only they remained was predetermined billions of years ago, long before our blue planet cooled enough to hold oceans that shimmered under young suns, long before the first fragile molecules clumped together in warm vents on the ocean floor, splitting and replicating in the dawn of life, long before any nervous system evolved to process pleasure, pain, attachment, rejection, or the overwhelming rush we label as love. It's a thought that unsettles the soul, isn't it? Imagine tweaking one single fundamental constant in physics, just a hair's breadth change in the strength of gravity, the charge of an electron, the mass ratio of protons to neutrons, and everything shifts. Your biochemistry would rewrite itself. Dopamine pathways might not light up the same. Serotonin balance could tip. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, might bind weakly or not at all. You could stand face to face with the exact same person, share the same laughter, the same quiet nights, the same tears, and feel nothing, or feel it intensely for someone else entirely, or never know what it means to be consumed by another human being. Love feels like the ultimate personal truth. It feels intimate beyond words, your secret vulnerabilities laid bare, your quiet promises whispered in the dark, your willingness to rearrange your entire life around one other fragile soul. It feels sacred, almost divine, like proof that we are more than biological machines grinding through existence. But science has never been polite enough to honor our feelings. It pursues cold, unyielding evidence, even when that evidence dismantles our most treasured illusions. And the evidence is overwhelming. Every atom vibrating in your body, every electron leaping in your brain, obeys the exact same impersonal, emotionless laws that govern the collapse of distant stars and the expansion of the cosmos itself. The chemical storm you feel when you see them smile, it's the same physics that powers supernovae. If the universe operates without intention or preference at its deepest level, then love your love must be subject to those same rules. No exceptions. So the question that lingers like a shadow in every quiet moment: if atoms harbor no desires, if the four fundamental forces feel no compassion or cruelty, if physics is utterly blind and indifferent, then why do you feel this hurricane of emotion? Why does love invade your every thought, rewrite your future plans, make you willing to endure pain, sacrifice comfort, even risk your own survival for one person? Why does it feel like the entire 13.8 billion year history of the universe conspired to bring you two together when science insists it was just equations unfolding without care? Pause for a moment. If all of this is true, if the brain obeys physics just like everything else, then even your sense of free will may arrive late to the story, appearing only after the decision has already been made. For thousands of years, humanity built towering walls of myth to keep this terror at bay. We told ourselves stories of immortal souls recognizing each other across lifetimes, of gods personally matchmaking two halves of a divided whole, of invisible red threads tying destined lovers, no matter oceans or eras between them. These weren't mere fairy tales, they were psychological armor, because the alternative felt like falling into nothingness. What if love is nothing more than physics wearing makeup? What if our most profound experiences, our poetry, our music, our desperate late-night confessions, are just predictable biochemical fireworks? What if the feeling of forever is an evolutionary hack, not a cosmic promise? Then science turned its instruments inward from distant galaxies to the 3 pounds of wrinkled tissue inside our skulls, and the walls began to crack. The first major fracture came from Sigmund Freud, the Viennese doctor who seemed to delight in making polite society uncomfortable. Freud refused to idealize love. He saw it as raw biological energy libido. the drive for pleasure and survival redirected and disguised to fit civilized life. When direct sexual expression is repressed by social norms, that energy doesn't vanish. It sublimates into higher pursuits: art, work, friendship, and especially romantic love. Attraction doesn't begin when you swipe right or lock eyes across a room. It begins in the unconscious, in drives you never consciously chose. Early childhood attachments, repressed desires, the primal need to reproduce and secure resources. By the time your conscious self says, "I choose you," the decision was already made in the hidden machinery of your mind. Love, in Freud's unflinching view, is not freedom. It is compulsion wearing elegant clothes. The world recoiled. People wanted their romance to remain mysterious, elevated, pure, not reduced to infantile urges and animal instincts. They wanted transcendence, not Freud's toilet humor about the id. But even Freud, revolutionary as he was, could only describe the pressure. He couldn't fully map the gears and levers behind it. Then Ivan Pavlov arrived with something even more quietly devastating. His experiments weren't about love. They were about dogs, bells, meat powder, and drool. Yet they revealed a truth that cuts deeper. Emotions are not eternal verities. They are learned, conditioned responses. A neutral bell means nothing until it repeatedly predicts food. Then, the bell alone triggers salivation, excitement, anticipation. The brain forges ironclad associations. Stimulus plus reward equals automatic response. No reflection required. Now bring it home to your own life. Remember the way their voice suddenly became the only sound that could calm your racing heart during panic. The way their scent lingered on your clothes and instantly lowered your stress. The way their presence during your darkest days turned unbearable pain into something bearable. Your brain didn't sit down and philosophize about meaning. It simply tracked outcomes. This person equals chemical relief. This person equals dopamine surge. This person equals reduced threat, increased safety. Love is not a mystical plunge into passion. It is your nervous system learning to associate one specific human with maximum reward. Classical conditioning on the grandest scale disguised as destiny, fate, soulmates. This is why a single song, a familiar perfume, or a remembered laugh can suddenly resurrect feelings you thought were gone. The stimulus carries no memory. Your brain does. The simplicity is almost cruel. But it begs the next question. Why did evolution bother to wire us so tightly? Why make the bond feel like oxygen itself? Why turn attachment into something that overrides reason, self-preservation, everything? To answer, we must leave the realm of mind and plunge into the cold bedrock of reality, physics. Richard Feynman, the genius who demystified quantum electrodynamics with chalkboard sketches and infectious curiosity, never pretended to understand romance. He lectured on particles, probability, entropy, time. Yet his worldview quietly obliterates every poetic explanation of human love ever invented. Feynman's central insight is stark and uncompromising. The universe runs on laws, not on wishes or meanings. Atoms do not conspire or prefer. They obey statistical probabilities and physical rules with flawless obedience. When trillions upon trillions of them interact over cosmic timescales, astonishing complexity can emerge not because of design or intent, but simply because the rules permit it. Life is not crafted. It is allowed. Brains are not enchanted organs. They are vast, intricate arrangements of particles following electromagnetic forces, quantum probabilities, thermodynamic gradients. Emotions, then, are not privileged exceptions to the rule. They are emergent properties of physical processes. Love does not spring from some immaterial soul. It begins at the quantum level, fluctuating fields, probabilistic electron clouds, molecular bonds forming and breaking according to energy minima. Dopamine molecules dock onto receptors, not because they want to create happiness, but because electrostatic attraction and quantum mechanics make the bound state lower energy, Once docked, cascades follow. Ions rush through channels. Action potentials race down axons. Entire networks light up. Behavior changes, approach, pursue, bond, protect. There is no choice woven into the chemistry. There is only inevitability playing out at every scale. Feynman once remarked, "Nature cannot be fooled." It pays no attention to our romantic narratives, our need for specialness, our desperate search for meaning. It enforces consistency alone. If particular molecular configurations and neural patterns reliably produce the subjective experience we call love, attraction, attachment, devotion, then love is not a mystery. It is chemistry behaving precisely as the laws dictate. Predictable, repeatable, inevitable under these conditions. The implication is ice cold. Imagine rewinding the entire universe back to the Big Bang singularity and pressing play again, with every physical constant identical. The same hydrogen clouds collapse into stars. The same nuclear fusion forges carbon, oxygen, iron. The same evolutionary pressures sculpt nervous systems on a pale blue dot. The same reward circuits evolve. The same two people cross paths in a city, feel the same chemical surges, build the same memories, utter the same vows, no deviation, no alternate timeline where they never met. Love, in this picture, is not chosen. It is cosmically predetermined, utterly indifferent to our illusions of freedom. Yet Carl Sagan, who shared the same awe for the cosmos as Feynman, offers a perspective that warms the chill. He reminded us that we are not separate spectators of the universe. We are participants. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Every atom in your body, the hydrogen born in the Big Bang, the carbon fused in the cores of long-dead stars, the calcium scattered by supernova explosions was once part of those violent, indifferent furnaces. Your bones, your blood, your beating heart, all recycled stardust. When you hold someone close and feel your chest ache with tenderness, it is ancient cosmic chemistry reorganizing into conscious feeling. It is the universe, through you, experiencing affection, longing, care. Sagan did not offer this as comfort food. He offered it as profound humility. Love is not diminished because it is merely chemical. It becomes infinitely more astonishing that lifeless particles, hurled across void by blind explosions billions of years ago, could somehow assemble into beings capable of empathy, sacrifice, poetry, and unbreakable devotion. That dead stars could birth creatures who stare at each other and whisper, "You are my home." But one final question burns brighter than the rest. Why does love feel so overwhelming? Why does it eclipse logic, hijack priorities, make separation feel like amputation? Why does it convince us of eternity when we know mortality waits? Jaak Panksepp, the neuroscientist who pioneered affective neuroscience, provided the missing piece. He mapped the core emotional circuits shared across all mammals. Love's ferocity is not romantic exaggeration, it's ancient survival engineering. Mammals possess dedicated systems, seeking dopamine-fueled exploration and pursuit, lust, sexual drive, care, oxytocin-driven nurturing and bonding, and panic, grief, the agony of separation. These are not luxuries. They are necessities forged in blood. In the ancestral environment, isolation was death sentence, predators, starvation, exposure, lost protection. Natural selection, therefore, favored brains that made social bonds feel as urgent and rewarding as food or sex. Oxytocin surges during touch, gaze, orgasm, turning closeness into an addictive high. Endogenous opioids flood to soothe the pain of loneliness like natural morphine. Dopamine tags your partner as the single highest value reward in your world. The brain evolved to make attachment feel infinite and unbreakable, because detachment once meant extinction. Love feels eternal not because it is poetic, but because the system is rigged to make loss unbearable, not to trap you cruelly, to keep the species and the genes alive, the stock landing. Love is not evidence of cosmic destiny or divine planning. It is evidence that evolution's ruthless algorithms succeeded spectacularly. And like any powerful biological system, it can misfire, it can bind us to the wrong people, it can persist even when it causes pain. That does not make love false, it makes it human. But here is the radiant twist that redeems everything. None of this reductionism erases meaning. It explodes meaning to cosmic proportions. In a universe ruled by entropy, randomness, indifference, and the slow heat death awaiting us all, the emergence of creatures capable of deep, selfless, transformative love is statistically absurd. It is a momentary, improbable rebellion against the second law of thermodynamics. Blind particles somehow learn to encode memories of smiles and touches. Molecules somehow orchestrated yearning and tenderness. An uncaring cosmos without design, without purpose, accidentally produced beings who can feel purpose. Who can say, "I would rather suffer than see you suffer," and act on it? Feynman himself captured the essence. Knowing the laws does not drain beauty from the world. It intensifies it. The beauty of a rainbow is not diminished by understanding refraction and dispersion. It is enhanced by realizing how improbable it is that light and water droplets conspire to create such splendor. The same holds for love. Knowing it is chemistry does not cheapen it. It reveals how miraculous it is that raw physics ever gave rise to devotion, loyalty, tenderness at all. Love is not reduced by its origins. It is exalted, because physics alone should produce only motion, reaction, decay, never longing, never sacrifice, never the quiet choice to stay when leaving would be easier. Yet here we are. So the next time you look at the person you love, the one whose presence makes the chaos bearable, whose flaws you cherish as much as their strengths, remember this: you are not witnessing some predestined romance scripted by the stars. You are witnessing the universe's most astonishing, improbable victory. Atoms learned how to remember a face. Molecules learned how to yearn the cold, vast, indifferent cosmos without ever intending anything, created something capable of meaning, care, and connection. Love obeys the same unbreakable laws as everything else in existence. And precisely because of that obedience, it matters more than any myth ever could. Meaning does not require gods, magic, or miracles. It only requires matter awakening to itself. And in this fleeting moment of cosmic history, you have awakened. You love, you care. And that, my friend, is the rarest, most defiant, most beautiful thing in all of reality.